as you know, Mr. President,
I consider it to be an invasion.
As you know, Mr. President, the Caravan was not an invasion. It's a group of migrants moving up from Central America towards the border with the U.S.
Thank you for telling me that.
Why did you characterize it as such?
Because I consider it an invasion. You and I have a difference of opinion.
But do you think that you demonized immigrants in this election
to try to keep... I want them to come into the country, but they have to come in legally. You know, they have to come in, Jim, through a process.
They're hundreds of miles away, though. They're hundreds and hundreds of miles away. That's not an invasion.
Honestly, I think you should let me run the country. You run CNN.
All right.
And if you did it well, your ratings would be much better.
If I may ask one other question, Mr. President, if I may ask one other question, are you worried?
That's enough. That's enough.
Mr. President, I was
enough.
going to ask one of the other folks.
That's enough.
Pardon me, ma'am. Mr. President.
That's enough.
Contrary to the show known as CNN's Jim Acosta, the caravans headed toward our southern border can be determined to be a foreign invasion on several fronts. And it isn't anti-Semitic to point that out, but it is anti-American to ignore it.
It's not anti-Semitic to criticize Soros, and Israel issued a statement a year ago saying just that.
According to records obtained by the folks over at Big League Politics, courtesy of the independent research of Brian Humphrey, the caravans that have been headed for the northern border sporadically for 10 years are not simply motivated by social media and self-preservation, as most of the media would report. For example, the Washington Post reporting, although the caravan's origin story remains somewhat opaque, the answer from many migrants here is that they had wanted to leave for months or years. And then, in a Facebook post, on a television program, in a WhatsApp group, they saw an image of the growing group and decided. Or did they have the same United Nations Migration Pact-based motivation, fueled by international banks that have been driving refugees into Europe? The official organizer of the caravans, Pueblo Sin Fronteras, for all intents and purposes, is supposedly a lone organization. However, we now know that Pueblo Sin Fronteras is run by La Familia Latina Unida, which in turn is overseen by Centro Sin Fronteras, which is backed by the Soros-financed National Immigration Forum. What's more, as Patrick Howley for Big League Politics writes, a Pueblo Sin Fronteras spokeswoman and organizer, Veridiana Vidal, is the Nevada State Director for America's Voice, which has been paid consulting fees by the George Soros-funded Immigrant Voters Win PAC. That Soros-funded PAC also pays salaries for America's Voice's top executives. Howley continues, Soros gave $3 million to the Immigrant Voters Win PAC, becoming the PAC's first and primary donor. That PAC has financed America's Voice through a six-figure consulting reimbursement and has also funded the top executives at America's Voice. The Free Beacon reported the PAC disclosed $135,000 in federal operating expenditures, with much of the money going towards salaries to individuals at America's Voice, an immigration organization that fights for a direct, fair, and inclusive road to citizenship for immigrants in the United States without papers. The PAC also disclosed a six-figure reimbursement to the group. So, when the media ignores a left-leaning foreign billionaire's wrecking ball on our national security based on their own manufactured globalist propaganda, what is left after the smoke clears is nothing less than treason.
Americans are not only tolerant, they're amazingly generous and charitable, but we're starting to feel like this is a con man preying on our charity. We've been quite charitable for the last several decades, taking in more refugees than the rest of the world combined. The problem is that all of these countries are dysfunctional. The problem is who the people are who are coming. If we overwhelm our country with even more millions of Latin Americans, eventually we just become another failed Latin American state.
This caravan was organized by leftist groups in Honduras, financed in part by Venezuela. That all according to the president of Honduras, who told me those things personally.
Surprised Venezuela has any money.
John Bowne reporting.